Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode probably, I don't know, 17 or something of Banishers. And we're going to be jumping in right where we are, but a very quick, big thank you to Caroluna, who just raided over, as well as Grumpy, who just resubscribed, and a big hello to Wood and Solid Chrome Hickey and anybody else that I might have missed in chat. We're going to be picking up exactly where we left off in Banishers. Innertooth, yes! And Inner was just playing a game called 64, which I'd never heard of. It's a very interesting, abstract sort of maybe idle game, but actually seemed very involved when I was looking at it. It seemed like a very cool game, and I'd never heard of it, Inner. So we're going to be jumping into Banishers. We are in Fort Jericho, and we had just done one of the haunting investigations here, and sort of like holed up in our nice warm watchtower room. We are not going to be going to the Harrows right now. Instead, we're going to pop into our map and do a haunting of our choice. Why not this one right here? Now, there is an activity next to it. I'm going to try not to pick that up so that we can maybe do that as a story.
Damaged the sign.
Beat later. I think this is the investigation. Ingersoll's General Store, and then they've added Must Live On.
Ingersoll General Stores must live on. Someone's fighting for a cause.
Nathaniel Sather didn't seem the type. The store does, though. Shall we?
Oh, my good sir. Welcome. How can I help you?
Good day to you. I see you've dropped your prices.
Mr. McCrae? Just the man.
Oh?
I'm in trouble, and I need a banisher.
What seems to be the trouble?
I'm sure this sounds silly, but I am an educated man, sir, and when I say this shop is haunted, I say it in all seriousness. We've had unexplained pilfering, though that has stopped since the widow Ingersoll ran away with the cash box. But I hear noises. I'm alone here now, you see. After the horrors this fort endured, could one of these monstrosities be hiding away in the store?
Right. That's a lot. Let me ask a few questions. See if we can sort this out.
Of course. Beg pardon.
As we get started into the questions, thank you very much to Mitra for the lurk. I really appreciate it. I hope that your Thursday is going well. I don't see why not to start right at the top.
Whose ghost haunts you, do you think? Any enemies? Lost loved ones, perhaps?
I'm well liked, and I've no enemies here. Not since Bathsheba took the cash box and fled. But I'd hardly call her an enemy.
Bathsheba. The eponymous Mrs. Ingersoll, I believe.
The widow Ingersoll, up to split her hair. We've had someone thieving our merchandise. The ghost is the final straw.
You mentioned a problem with pilfering. What's that about?
Bathsheba noticed it first. Cases would go missing. Oil, sugar of all things, spoons.
Do you have a suspect? Any idea where the stolen goods might be?
Not a one, sir, not a one. And if I'm to be honest, I don't care. If they've stolen it, it's because they need it, apart from the sugar. And apart from the spoons, no one needs that many spoons. Bathsheba said she'd look into it, and I was happy to let her.
And hello to Kaz. Also, I want to respond to Caroluna here in a second. Kaz, I hope that your Thursday is going well.
You say the widow took her own cash box and fled. Why would she do that?
A moment of madness, sir. Or so I can only surmise.
Did you see her go?
I did. And not just that, I heard a commotion. As if her quarters were being ransacked. I confronted the thief, but it was she herself. She yelled at me, shoved me aside and fled. I picked myself up and went to follow, but she was gone.
I should have a look in her quarters, so To solve your haunting, I must investigate the store. Bathsheba's lodgings, too. I'd like to do so with your permission. May I have it?
For the store? Of course. For Bathsheba's lodgings? Well, not for me to say. Do what you have to do, and if she finds out, it won't be from me.
Well, I mean, she left. I feel like she's abandoned the property. All prices must all must go. Prices down. Pennies on the shilling, shillings on the pound. Yeah, Cara Luna. So Cara Luna was referencing Mud Runner. So for the benefit of Kaz and anybody else joining just a few minutes late, that was the beginning. We are at one of the shops here in Fort Jericho, Ingersoll's General Store. It turns out that the proprietress, Bathsheba, took off with the lockbox, and apparently this gentleman saw her do it. And also he believes that the shop is haunted because things have been going missing. We just had that conversation with him, and with no other leads here in the main shop, we're going to go upstairs.
Is that?
Yes. Something's here.
All right, we'll look for the hidden item in a moment. Note from Nathaniel Sather's notebook. The cash is by the foundry. I expect payment by the end of the day.
It's signed NS. As in Nathaniel.
From whom does he expect a payment, and why?
Okay, so that's the hidden item. I'm just curious, can you walk through it when you're red? No.
Is it just me or?
I felt it too.
So I'm just sort of wondering about that. Sather's letter to Thomas. 3rd May, 1695. My dear Thomas, at Ingersoll's I've learned how to run a store, how to keep customers, how to make money. Mr. Ingersoll was a pure soul, and I remember my mentor fondly. But I've been away too long. I miss Boston. I miss you. Life here is hard and cold. Moreover, Mrs. Ingersoll can no longer pay me, and I fear I shall be stuck here forever. If only you knew how much I miss you. I'll write you soon. Please take care, Nathaniel. Now, I'm terrible with names, but Nathaniel's the bearded guy that we just talked to for a bit, yeah?
This Thomas must be a good friend indeed. Nathaniel is desperate to see him.
Yes. Do we know if it means anything that his soul sort of glitters purple? I thought that most of the living, it was yellow, or like golden.
What a mess. Bathsheba left in a hurry.
Anyone home?
We're also going to make it a...
Wraith the Banisher. Show yourself.
I think we're alone.
bigger mess when we smash those boxes, but we'll do that in a second. Oh boy. These are always the most fun to try to figure out how to read. Let's see. The general store ledger had some sugar, a small knife, corn, more sugar, 2 oil, 1 pan, 1 salt, 1 sugar, 2 oil, 1 corn, 2 oil. And I don't notice any specific name that is more common than the rest, with the last entry being like, what is that, 2 months ago? Yeah, 2 months ago. I think we're still in July. For all I know, it's moved forward to September 1695. But yeah, we should be at like 7/10/1695. So I don't have a good sense of what that means yet.
Takings are thin indeed. Wouldn't make me want to stay. Perhaps there's a key.
Okay, we'll just cough really loudly when we do that.
Ghostly voices stay in this place.
Who does Duchess Mock think she is? Taking my wares, taking my business, taking my dignity. To hell with her. To hell with Helen Priest. I'll leg it to Boston before I let her take what's mine.
Helen Priest's letter to Bathsheba Ingersoll. Widow Ingersoll, sorry to do this to you, but these are exceptional times and the collective is greater than the individual. Find your requisition order enclosed herewith. Interesting. She tried to say, like, this is under, like, command property now. give me these things because we need them.
When Helen threatened to take her business, the widow ran away.
Well, shit, I don't know.
Prudent. I can't say I blame her.
We found all we could. Might be time to go after our thief.
Mrs. Ingersoll took a cart. Maybe you could follow her tracks.
Not a bad idea, Mr. Sather. Not a bad idea at all.
Okay, we're going to go follow the tracks. And while we might get interrupted here momentarily with more dialogue, you know, the game that we're playing, Cara Luna was noting that so he's returned Expeditions. We were talking about this in some recent episodes. Expeditions is as of this statement, very recently released.
Do you think perhaps the late Mr. Ingersoll may haunt his old store?
Back to save his wife, and with it his store? Perhaps. I doubt it.
Very recently released follow-up to SnowRunner, and Cara Luna was saying that the reviews have been very mixed, which I had also observed there on Steam. Cara Luna had tried it out and found that he understands why it might be mixed, and is saying that it seemed like people were expecting SnowRunner 2, and that's not what this is. And yeah, that sort of came up when we were talking about it pre-release too, that it was something that was it was not being called SnowRunner 2 or, I don't know, like Sandrunner or something like that, because it is a very different product.
Standing by.
Okay, everybody get the hell out of my way. Okay.
Why do I get the feeling that we're sitting ducks?
Ask for help if you need it. Hogging all the fun.
Okay. I have to say, I think I've pointed this out before, it has still not stopped being very satisfying when you do
The tracks continue this way.
banish on a corpse, and it also destroys the spirit inside. Oh, Cara Luna says he actually hadn't tried it. He had it, like he owned it and could have tried it, but was like, after watching some streams, was like, no, I'm kind of out of it. Hello to Suda! Suda, I hope that your Thursday is going well. I was sharing earlier that it was a bit of a heavy Thursday. Not a bad Thursday. Like, I always want to draw the distinction of, like, one of the things that I talked about as we were working through some of the interesting developments of the day. Once this is done, once this is settled, we're gonna go have lunch, and it's all gonna be fine. You know, there's worse ways to spend the day than troubleshooting a surprising issue that came up with people that are there and assisting and able to make some sense out of it. Oh, also, Inner had said of the sort of how would you characterize 64? It's not really a factory simulator. I mean, you're not simulating having a factory, but it does have some, like, harvesting and then expenditure of resources.
Bathsheba must have had motivation to flee in snow like this.
Or desperation.
I would sort of think of it as sort of being like an abstract economic simulator, maybe. But it was very curious. But yeah, so Cara Luna has returned Expeditions and says, knowing me, I might pick it up later. Well, Cara Luna, that makes all the sense in the world. Later it will be more fully featured, cheaper, and any bugs that people have come across will, I assume, have been resolved. Yeah. Picking up a game later makes sense in a way that, like, watching a movie later or reading a book later. I mean, even those things make sense, depending on what you're in the mood for. But the video game that you buy in 6 months or a year or in 3 years is going to be a very different experience than the movie that you watch today versus watching in 3 years. It's the same movie. You might be different.
The tracks veer to the right. Standing by.
Okay.
Have some of that.
Oh, wow, we punched that guy straight dead. Oh, we're still on cooldown for that.
Watch out. Spectre possession.
Wait, no, stop it.
This isn't over yet.
So, when the wolves die, sometimes they get possessed by spirit humans. Oh, somebody did get into one. But I noticed that we never see, like, the wolf ghosts. Like, the wolves themselves don't become, like, ghost wolves.
Enough.
Oh, Suda has some binary for us, and it probably means something, although I can't quite decode it myself. And interesting is like, wait, why would you say that? But yeah, Kaz, I don't know if we still have Kaz. Kaz was there for Apnilla's premiere stream of 5 seconds Mass Effect Andromeda yesterday. And it is... I have some very good and specific memories of that game, and what he's playing, like, there were parts of it that I absolutely remember, and then other parts was like, I'd completely forgotten about this. Kaz is still here. Yeah, he was... It was really interesting to see him experience a lot of that stuff for the first time. The piece of advice that I'd had for him somewhat before he started playing was... to treat Mass Effect Andromeda as a Mass Effect sequel made by people who had not actually played the previous games and instead had them described to them, and then they tried to build a sequel based on what they understood it to be, which I don't think is inherently a negative. It's just, I think, a lot different than what people were expecting. I honestly I cannot work out where I'm not looking at. I think I described it as being a loose cousin of what you would think of as being like the main Mass Effect games. And I say that without judgment, but rather as an attempt to underscore this is different. And it's supposed to be different. It's not... Here's the thing. They didn't try to make a traditional Mass Effect game and fail. They tried to do something different with the Mass Effect license, and therefore your experience with it is not necessarily going to be governed by whether or not you like the originals or the previous ones. Kaz is saying... Oh, hold on. I feel like anytime that we see, guys popping up, we're... feel good about where we are in terms of
here, you know.
making progress. A bit of overkill there, but...
I maim the corrupted heart. You aim at its roots.
Wait, she has news. Oh, we have this. Yes, probably. I mean, that's not our quest yet. Let's do our quest and then we'll untangle the heart.
The missing cart. Abandoned. The wheel is stuck.
Oh. Oh, this is what we were looking for.
Empty cash box. The widow Ingersoll's, no doubt.
So Suda's saying that they were put in their place in all the best ways. Those are separate ideas in my head. Usually when you say that somebody's been put in their place, it's not a positive or good thing, but that's not to say it can never be. I'm just trying to envision what the rundown was. So one of the things is underneath the log, and then one of them is... I feel like one of the roots goes over here. There it is. Okay. So we need to find a way... Okay, it's just gonna keep happening, apparently. I think we can hit that one. And I'm sorry, where's the third one? But yeah, Kaz is saying Andromeda was a controversial game. I'm on the side that's not my kind of game, but I won't ruin his experience because of my experience. Yeah, and that's... Wow. So the only way to do this is to walk across the log. I don't think there's any way to hit both of these nodes from one location. So we will try to do that right now. The fuck? Did I really miss that first one? And this is as fast as we can go. So either this is going to be a little forgiving or missing that first shot cost us.
Once I bruise the heart, destroy the wisps within its roots.
Yeah. Exactly too long. But we can try it again from... Oh no, we super can't. Okay. Dawn! Dawn, thank you so much for the raid! Dawn was playing some Death Stranding earlier today. I was watching some of that, Dawn. Death Stranding is a game that I'd like to play for myself at some point, and yet I feel like is generally non-spoilable, so I don't feel bad at all about watching other people's playthroughs. And Dawn was very companionable. I really liked watching it. Rev Rob Evil, hello to you as well.
Sharpshooter.
Years of practice.
We're just melting down some creeping vines by shooting them with a gun. Turns out guns, very useful gardening tools. Oh, and hello to Clay as well! Dawn is saying that she really likes this game. Is that Banishers or is that Death Stranding? Because both Death Stranding, here's the take on Death Stranding from someone who has not played it. So please disregard what I say and go interact with Dawn_Evil because she's actually played it, so she knows what it's like. From someone who's not played it but seen some of it, it seems like an actually pretty zen game. It seems like an actual walking simulator. And when I say zen, I don't mean there's no challenges. I just mean that...
really have no idea how many miles a Banisher runs to solve a case.
I once met Nero Fox, the infamous Banisher who solved all his cases from the comfort of his armchair.
I should have become his apprentice.
Thing is, his apprentice was the one that went into the field for him.
So he's supervised. I'll remain here with my hands in my pockets while you go do all the actual work. Then you tell me what you did, and then I will solve the case. Seems like a sweet gig if you can get it. So... Oh! Okay, this is... Okay. Suda gardens with explosives. That is really good for aerating the soil, I find. Tilling and turning over and aerating the soil. Nothing beats a good just like mortar round. Okay, I feel like we've gotten everything in here. And that's it. But yeah, so when I say that Death Stranding is a walking simulator, I mean that from what I've seen, Dawn, and you please, like, course correct me on this, it is actually simulating walking, like carrying materials, transporting goods from one place to another. Not like Red here is just like walking across the landscape, but actually like controlling your direction, momentum, making sure that you are like making it up and down slopes properly. Clay is saying, because Clay's also played it. That's a really good point. Clay, in fact, I think might be playing it currently. Sorry, I just want to acknowledge this. Death Stranding can be Zen, but tell that to the 6 bodies I killed and had to dispose of. Yes. The fact that the game has combat, like is just very surprising.
A trail of blood. I don't like that.
I would feel like as a Banisher, you'd actually feel pretty good about it. It again is a sign that you're on the right track. So, Clay, also, since you're here, I'm 100% sure that this is covered commonly on your streams, but what specific VR headset do you have? Because ever since Oculus decided that you have to sign up for a Meta account in order to make any use of it, the interest level in that has diminished significantly. Also, I guess at this particular stage, I would be interested to know what's going to become of Sony's announcement that they're going to start looking into expanding PSVR 2 support to PCs. Because, yeah, from everything I've heard, that is a hell of a piece of kit. So if they can make that work on things that are not just a PlayStation 5, it would really open up the market for that. Clay is saying that Oculus, actually a Meta account is similar to the Oculus account. Oh. Thought I heard something. I'm actually not kidding here. I know that the soul shards are some sort of currency, and I've probably spent a lot of them, but I don't actually know. I feel like it's one of those things where I've always had enough to afford whatever I needed, so I just haven't been paying very much attention.
The tracks continue this way.
Outside of, just continuing to shoot those orbs every time I see them. Just taking a quick look around. Also, Carolina was saying, are we sure that the Meta account is a real account? Is somebody breaking the fourth wall here? Yeah, for a long time, Facebook, now Meta, had insisted and straight up promised in writing multiple times and across multiple interviews that Facebook accounts would never be needed for your Oculus Rift. Although the companies were one and the same, they were going to keep those ecosystems separate and not attempt to marry your Oculus account to Facebook membership or having a Facebook page. And I suppose, I'm just trying to figure out if there's any significance here, because that is a red... Oh, that's what it is. This is a down at some point. We have to drop that rope. What I was going to say is that I guess technically that's correct, because you don't need a Facebook account to use your Oculus anymore, because now they call it a Meta account. Now, that said, anybody that already has a...
I think Bathsheba was injured.
Looks that way. What with the blood and torn clothing and all.
Anybody that has a Meta account or is otherwise inclined to sign up for, like, I'm not sure that that would... You know, I wouldn't say to anybody that that should be a deal breaker. Oh, we definitely have a fight to do here. And I think it's even on our path. Oh, interesting. Clay says, so this is new information. Meta used to require a Facebook account, but that's no longer a requirement. This is literally new to me as of, what are we on, March 7th? March 7th, 2024. Literally learning about this right now. I did not realize that. And Dawn has the Quest 3. I think it is the Oculus Quest, isn't it? I think that's the one that, like, it's just self-contained. It doesn't need a PC. It's just, like, what it is. And I've heard that it is an amazing experience. Like, it's just really, really well done. Okay, how much more do I have to investigate? I feel like the big bone pile is what we're here for. But this is reading as locked. Investigate the area. The other thing is this sort of, like, passageway to the upside down. Oh. I will take this information further off stream because, oh, Dawn's got to run off. Dawn, again, thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, she got one because of Clay and Nikolai. I didn't know that Nikolai had one. So, what are you telling me to do? I'm so sorry. This seems like it should be much more evident to me. Sometimes there's a ritual circle on the ground, and that's where you initiate the ritual. I can't seem to interact with this directly at all, but our rings continue to glow. The wisps aren't pointing in any specific direction, and I feel very strongly that it is on this side of the log. We can't go in there, so I can stop spending my time looking at that. And whatever I'm looking for is apparently right over here. If his rings were glowing blue, then I would think, oh, we definitely have to do this as Antea. When they're glowing red, okay, and they don't glow up here at all. Clay's saying that he can help answer any questions. Clay, what we'll do is we'll check it out, because we were just, like, straight up not gonna do that. And if we have any questions, I will definitely hit you up either here on Twitch, probably here on Twitch, but maybe in Discord as well, or instead, depending on what works best. What are you trying to teach me? What are your secrets, weird bone pile? Oh! So what was happening is that it's sort of like blue on white, and also if you're not standing next to it, I just absolutely did not see it.
The tracks lead into this cave. Must have been really desperate.
So my best bet is that this is a mystery, or a hearkening, an echo. I hope this is right.
Now the past is mine to see.
Go away, beasts! Off with you! That's mine! Come back!
Eaten alive. Hope it was quick.
The wolf took a purse. We should find it.
Call on me.
Hold on. Every single time that they're not demon wolves, it's a little surprising.
This isn't over yet.
Okay, I'm expecting ghosts. You can't have this many dead wolves and not have spirits that want to come make them demon wolves. Okay, that was actually a really good fight.
Let's search the den. But with a wing or so, we'll never again see Boston.
Okay, we will. So, if I start this, do we know if I recharge on lives?
There's an angry specter nearby. Summon it before it ambushes us.
Summon Scourge, I think.
My voice commands you!
Wow.
Unveil!
Okay, sorry. I just knocked over the mic. Give me just 1 second. I apologize if that was not loud. All right, I feel like we're still live. Can people can still hear me? Yes? That was not cool. All right. I feel like we're good. Wait, eye gouging harvester? More damage when Antea has low spirit points. All right, let's wear out her. Thank you, because they can. Thank you for the feedback. So we need to expel all of her spirit points. Wow, I really shouldn't have frozen that guy in the thorn bramble. Killing seems that he barely heard that happen. I would like to believe that's true. It seems like it'd be loud to just knock over the whole mic. It is a not insubstantial stand, also. Oh, the other thing we can do is just take damage. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Pretty wee shite, aren't you? There's more of them. Right, get back here now.
Okay, don't stand in that. Whoa, boy!
Got another trick up your sleeve.
Alright, he's gonna throw speckle birds at me, so I sort of want to not catch every single one of them.
Look out!
I'm here, damn it.
Okay, I think it's definitely... Wow! I was trying to dodge my way free to drink a decoction. Wow, Suda and Kaz also said that they didn't hear it fall. I'm very relieved for that. And it didn't, like, fall off the desk or anything. It was just... I bumped it and knocked it completely down. Let's try that one more time.
Reveal yourself!
I can help.
Also, just for the record, this is a level 25 dude, and I'm level 18, so if I don't get it this time, we'll just come back later. Okay, that...
Can't outrun a ghost.
Come back here!
What I'd like to do is get her relatively low on spirit points and then do a yell. so that we get sort of maximum damage out of that.
Where do you think you're going?
Okay, there's too many wolves around to leave that specter
Running away, are
going.
we?
All right.
They never learn, do they? Watch out! Spectre possession. Where do you think you're going?
Crap. Actually, I don't really have a good sense of how much damage or disruption that thorn bramble does. It just sort of seems like something I'd want to stay clear of.
There's a tough one. Don't let that spectre get to the corpse.
Okay. Oh my god! Sorry, I don't mean to yell, but that was just really well executed.
Fancy a race?
Okay. Yeah, that was just more about not necessarily running on Taya down immediately, but making the most of her on the way. Okay, so now we're ready to go into the cave, the Bramble Cave. I feel pretty good about this. One of the most impressive things to me about VR is that they are streamable. Like, if you guys have not seen Hey Call Me Clay, like he did mention that his VR streams are on Saturdays. It's amazing how well streaming VR works. And, like, I get it. You're basically taking the output to one of the two eyes and just flattening it and putting it there and so that people can see along. But it's still impressive to me that it happens.
Widow Ingersoll.
Oh.
Follow my voice.
Complete asshole, just...
Not today.
Okay.
Sharpen up.
Yeah, that guy got me from behind before I even realized that a fight was starting. I saw Red draw his sword, it just really on us. So can we smash these? Yep. Keys, a strange symbol embossed on them. So look at the strange symbol, N-E-M. This doesn't mean anything to me. If I'm supposed to recognize that as like a Freemason symbol or something, I don't.
Here's the belt. The purse is with it.
Keys. Widow Ingersoll's, I don't doubt.
I've seen this symbol in the mines below Fort Jericho.
Why would she have keys to the mines?
Mines. You want to take a look, don't you?
So we actually do have to have like some high quality iron. As long as we're gonna go down there, let me just check. We're not gonna not do this, but if we can knock out a second thing at the same time. Crud. That's an activity we haven't started yet. Let me zoom out a little bit. That's activity available. That's old trading route. That's underground location. Unless we already picked it up, I'm relatively sure that we need to... that we're supposed to get some high-quality iron here. And I may just not remember it. Since we're also here, though, why don't we check out some of these question marks? So interesting that he doesn't think it's an output from one of the eyes. He thinks it's a new render. He saw FR games. FR. That are different UI for the stream than that for the streamer. Oh, it may be VR? So Mia has been playing Half-Life Alyx. And here's one of the reasons that I would have expected it to be one of the eyes, and maybe Clay will know one way or the other. When Mia's playing Half-Life Alyx...
What is lurking here?
Time to work, Banisher.
When she holds... When she's, like, firing the gun specifically, it always seems to me that the gun is sort of, like, angled a little bit towards the right, which leads me to believe that she's actually targeting with her dominant left eye. So yeah, Clay. So you're playing a VR game. The people on stream are watching you play a VR game. The image that they see, is that the output to one of the two eyes, or is that sort of a blend of the two, or as Intertooth put it, like a new render? Because I guess the thing that would surprise me about it being a new rendering of the scene is that that's now triple work that you're asking it to do. But I'm just sort of like thinking aloud. I don't know how it works. You're basically asking the game, the engine, your computer to render the same scene 3 times instead of just taking one of the two existent renders, one for each eye, and just using one of those. So Clay is saying that the image is one of the eyes, usually. And then, so if there's like unique interface elements, because that's what Intertooth was asking about, in Half-Life Alyx, the viewers see interface elements that I guess don't exist for the person playing. And is that just a unique render of like the player's health and like ammo settings, ammo capacity, ammo availability? Okay, I'm just double checking because this seems like not what I had been trying to get to yet. And yet, oh boy, no, it really wants me to go down there. Okay, so instead of that, which we will go do, can we go check out this? In advanced games, you can choose your dominant eye. That's interesting. And then Intertooth is saying, yeah, health and etc. Mia has to look at her arm to see that, and we just see it on screen. Yeah, and so it's an interesting point, Intertooth. Like, at what pass in the game is it giving that? Because you're right that Mia doesn't see that information at all. Wow, I'm heading in the wrong direction. And yet, how does...
Once I bruise the heart, destroy the wisps within its roots.
Once I bruise the heart. I know what she's talking about. It's...
That's some kind of cenotaph.
I think so. A memorial to hunters lost. All hunters lost.
Okay, everybody relax. You're throwing a lot at me right now. In the game I'm talking about.
Reinforcements!
Don't ask me. I'm sure that I had a plan in mind. I don't know why I fired directly at the ground. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, most of it was coming over here to like search out the bramble some more.
I know.
So Clay is saying that what you see in Half-Life Alyx is spectator view that you can adjust in the game, which augments what the flat screen viewers see. So, yeah, so from our limited experience with VR games here, when you're playing a VR game, one person's like wearing the helmet, but then on the computer monitor, it is showing an image of what there is, which Clay is clarifying is one of the two eyes. And now that I think about it, Intertooth, and Clay for that matter, at least for like Elite Dangerous, which is what my producer mostly used the VR for, it would actually have like a third render setting. So I think it is a little bit what you were saying, Intertooth, where it is, I'm just looking up here. I think there might be at least a partial third render happening, because you can set the resolution of what appears on the computer monitor separately from the in-game resolution of what the person in the VR headset is there. But I assume that it's still pulling data from what it's...
More corrupted ivy waiting to be plucked out.
Rendering on the three eyes. I find this interesting, but it's very far removed from Banishers. I'm really curious about how it's done. Okay, so we're going to do that. I know that we saw a third one. So we've got that one. And then where do we think is the third one? It's too late now. So there's the heart. One of the nodes is over there. But yeah, the reason that I started to think, oh my god, we're seeing one of Mia's two eyes is... It's really hard to describe in words. When she is aiming her gun and pulling the trigger and hitting what she's aiming at, it looks to me like the gun is angled slightly over to the right. Like the reticle, the crosshairs or whatever, never line up for the viewer, and instead are always sort of like angled. And that's fine, because you can see what she's trying to do, and then she does it. You know, that's not a detriment in any way. Where is the third one? Let's start looking where we haven't checked yet. So back here we've got one. Oh, we didn't get that. It also helps if they do make some sound. That can help track them down. Inner2 says, I guess they optimized everything for having two viewpoints, then output those and add an overlay to the third. They're definitely adding the overlay, and it is a third, because, like, you're right. So I can only speak for Elite Dangerous. That's the one that we have the most sort of experience with. And yeah, you can straight up say, like, here's the resolution for what the spectator would see on the flat monitor. Oh, there it is. Okay, we got it. Yeah, with these, it's all about just figuring out what you're aiming at. So we're going to start here. I might need to do this in a different order, but go.
You need to see this.
Okay, so they were talking about a cenotaph. Is that the rock, or maybe it's further up the hill? Inner saying adding an overlay doesn't cost that much. Yeah, I would think it'd be really straightforward, and that way you could provide the external viewers something that the player doesn't actually see, which, again, I think is just sort of an interesting thing to consider for the technology. Like, the closest thing here is that, like I think I mentioned earlier, the streaming software was removing the film grain. So I was seeing film grain, but you guys weren't. That's not a difference in how the game is rendered. That's the streaming software doing a little bit too much work to clean up the image. So we addressed that on this side to just also remove the film grain. With VR, you actually can have a circumstance where the people outside the experience get to see different and sometimes more things. I'd also be interested if Clay has ever considered doing one of those. I don't remember what it's called. Yep, hold on. Where it's like your camera reprojects the scene that you're physically in VR.
I aim the corrupted heart. You aim at its roots.
Around you, so it looks like you, the human player, Clay, are in the scene. I'm not doing a very good job of describing this, but it's basically what feels like a pretty advanced green screen projection, which I always think looks super cool, but I also have to envision, it just feels like it'd be very expensive. So we've got one there. In terms of, like, performance. What do they call that? There's another one. Yeah, we're going to be climbing this tower. And then a third is somewhere. Probably in here. See, that feels like it's outside, though. I don't feel like I'd come in here to get that. To shoot that one. I remember in the trailers for Beat Saber, they used a lot of those. A lot of that. Like this sort of like high-mounted, angled-down camera that showed the human being in the, like, virtual environment of Beat Saber. It was a very arresting look. Like, it really did a great job of selling that game. Alright, so I think we've got one up at the top, 2 halfway up, 3 right here. So, we know what to do, and all we have to do now is start doing it. So I sort of want to be as far over here as we can. Come on, come on. And I'll go all the way up and around.
Sharpshooter.
Years of practice.
Now, just in case I want to look around in here, but the actual thing that we unlocked is all the way back down at the base. And we've got nothing. Carol Luna saying, random thought. It's not a thing that I do very often, but the local client for VMware can, for some weird reason, not be installed on a compressed drive, and it bugs him every time that he has to install it. I regret that I don't have any good advice for that. When I was much younger, I wanted to have more space on our family's computer, so I compressed the drive. Made a lot more space on the drive, and then felt very confused for why the system was incredibly slow. Really, really, really
There's
slow.
I'm gonna need a key.
Okay, so this was a lot of progress towards something that I don't feel like I can actually do yet. Yeah, that is a locked chest. So we'll just have to keep an eye out, or an ear out, or whatever else is going to lead us to the key as we go on. Oh, wait. Nope, that's just the chest that I can't open. The other thing that I didn't want to say to App, like, I'd like to see if he discovers this, although I did notice that one of the other chatters let him in on it. Mass Effect Andromeda, this is not a spoiler, but, you know, since he's actively playing it, it has an extremely elastic character class system, where rather than saying, you have chosen this character class, and here are the, you know, in Mass Effect 1 there were more of them, but, like, you know, 6 to 18 skills that you can have. Mass Effect 1 had a lot, but they were like hyper incremental, so it didn't really feel like that many. In Andromeda, you've got a lot more skills, and you can basically choose from every skill in the game. Some of them have prerequisites that you have to invest in previous skills to get to, but if you're playing along and you're like, well, I kind of want to be sniper rifle-y and then hackery, and maybe I want to have this specific biotic power, Whether or not those things dovetail well together, well, that's up to you to discern. And I think that respecking is pretty darn inexpensive if you do choose to go that route. Wait, am I... Okay. But one of the very cool things that it does is that there's all of these not particularly announced in advance ways that it make you feel different. And one of the major ones is just the traversal of it, where you start out with a jetpack, but if you invest in a lot of biotic abilities, then you still have the same mobility, but it's re-stylized as like a biotic jump. And there's one specific one where I guess if you absolutely positively don't want to know anything about Andromeda, like pop out for just 5 seconds. But there's one particular one where if you grab, it's like, I think it's called like, if you reclass as like a traveler, where you have to have a certain number of points in all 3 of the major classes. I think it's called like Traveler or Journeyer or something like that, where the traversal actually becomes a teleport, like a short-range teleport. And it does actually...
You're on your own.
Okay, so there's a ghost ward around. It does actually function differently than the others. Like, you can actually phase through physical materials to get places quicker or more easily. Oh, shoot.
Sorry, not this time.
I need to find the ghost ward so that we can shatter that wall. And hello to Crow. He has a moment at the start where he had difficulty with the concept. And the other part of that Crow is I felt really bad because I was misunderstanding what he was expressing, mostly because I had literally watched him choose his starting training. And then I went back and I watched him choose his starting training skills a second time. And it was only after Kay had said something, because here's the important thing. Kay was absolutely correct when she said, I think you might have chosen like a different training just before you started. And it, like, Crow, if you haven't looked, like, you have to, it is like a split second. I think what happens, welcome to Angel Describes What Happens on somebody else's stream, by the way. If you go back and watch it, he chooses operative, then he goes back in and he verifies that operative is selected. But right when he leaves, he like mouses over technician. And I think that counted as like selecting technician. I am going to do this in a second. I really want to try to find the ghost ward. And what I'm trying to do is get close to...
Take care.
There it is.
The place is warded.
Yeah, among other things. Perfect. Okay, so now we can go into the cabin. Can I get back up here if I go down? Let's do this first. Just remember cabin, cabin, cabin when we're done.
It's like this spectral nest is just waiting for my intervention.
And I think we're summoning the Scourge? Yeah, he was pretty irritated by that. And I once I understood what was happening... Are we really... Seriously? I think I have to make manifest.
Oh, shite.
I am so bad at this. I'm just double checking. It's not hearkening, it's not void traveling, it's not unbounding. So it's got to be make manifest.
Corrito Skal.
Ask for help if you need it. The lantern. Shoot it.
Wait, is that a thing? Why do I have to shoot the lantern? Is that what they shoot from? I just always assumed they had a gun.
Watch out. Spectre possession.
No, this is not happening. It's actually kind of difficult to dial in a shot on the...
Shift your balance. Spectre, going for a meat suit.
on the lantern.
Ready and waiting.
On account of the auto-aim. Although if it wasn't for the auto-aim, I wouldn't be able to hit anything ever. No, I guess you gotta shoot it at a specific time.
Done.
Crap.
Get back up.
Oh.
Move it, Red.
No. No.
On your toes, Scotsman. I'm still here.
Okay, so more damage when red is full health. So I think that I need to
Watch
drink a
your step.
decoction, even though he's not particularly wounded. We're just not doing any damage now. Okay, try not to take any damage.
Not hard enough.
Wait, where'd you go? Well, that sucked. I switched to red exactly in time to take a hit. I was trying to do my banish ability.
Your funeral.
This isn't over yet.
It's when I've talked since this happened. Watch out.
I want to be red as little as possible just to avoid taking any damage from the dudes I can't see coming.
Shite toughened up.
Heads up.
No, I'm out of Antea. Okay, try not to die or take damage.
Get lost, won't you?
Yeah, I really like the little, like, conditions that they put on it, where it's like, oh, charge. I guess I would, okay, so here's how it works. They say more damage when red is at full health. And what they mean is that when red is at full health, you do a lot more damage than normal. But if red is not at full health, then you do like 25% of normal damage. So the only actual viable way is to adhere to whatever that restriction is. And I have to say, I think that I would probably prefer it if the penalty was dialed down a little bit more so that it felt viable. Because, like, if you run out of decoctions and red is at, like, 95% health, you can technically still do it, but
Wasn't I always?
it's going to take you a really long time. Crow, by the way, how's your Thursday? Like, I like the fact that the conditions... Sorry. Those special conditions encourage you to engage with other aspects of the fighting system that you otherwise might not. Like, I think it's a really good idea in concept. In execution, I guess I'd just sort of like the penalties for not fighting that way to be dialed down a little bit so that, like, the full health one, that went just fine, but I can easily envision just taking a couple incidental hits and then, like, oh boy, now my options are die, quit and reset, or, like, do this fight for 45 minutes to eventually chip the enemies down. Okay, so this is the last point of interest that's in the area, and I think that for us to go there... Let me head in this direction. I think this is the one where we're going to take the elevator... No? Hold on, I think it's an in... Yeah, so now we know what it is. And I do want that, because I think that's a permanent health boost. I just... don't know why the compass didn't ask me to come down here. Crow says she got a part. It was a busy morning. We laid down some new flooring in the kitchen area of the RV, so that's finally done. That sounds good. It's always nice when you walk in after, like, some renovations or, like, some improvements, and you get to see it, like, every day. It's like, right, yeah, this is awesome now. We also got a part for the Jeep, and it's running. We just need some wiring. Then she can start driving and door dashing to make some more money. That is excellent. I've heard that Jeeps are extremely configurable and repairable. Like, Jeeps are designed to be heavily serviceable by the owner when inclined and knowledgeable. Okay, that was not the altar to the incarnate. I'm still optimistic that we're going to find it here. But not in there. That's not a way. Okay, the altar to the incarnate is... close. There's no tunnel, like Ghost Tunnel, to get over to it. Oh, yes, there is. I hadn't noticed it, but it looks like it's going to launch from right here. Was there something here? No. Oh. All right, now we're ready to get all lined up. Inner saying that his brother had an old-timer Jeep. He had stuff milled for him. It was cheaper than buying it new. I wonder if, like, 3D printing is also, like, a thing now for stuff like that. There's, like, plus 10 health points or something permanently. Yes. Plus 10 isn't a lot. But plus 40 or 50 or 70 or whatever we're up to, it adds up. All right, before we leave here... Nope, that's it. Crow is agreeing, saying... older Jeeps take a little bit longer to find the parts for because they need to be ordered. They're not usually just lying around. Since we're not having any luck with the remote work thing, 26 rejections and scams and counting, I'm going to do the DoorDash for the remainder of the time here. I am really sorry about the trouble finding remote work. I think now we're going to go to the campfire so that we can hopefully fast travel to where we're meant to be. And if this doesn't work out, I still think that it brings us closer to where we're actually headed. But I'm optimistic that we're going to be able to fast travel down to where we want to be in the mines. Interesting that his brother's old-timey Jeep was mostly used for off-roading. Yeah, I have never tried door dashing, and I don't personally know anybody that has, but I've seen enough, like, read enough and seen enough from people that it seems like it's a good opportunity to take some of your available time and turn it into some extra earning. And I would also think, and this is, again, just me thinking out loud about things that I know nothing about, being able to, like, put on, like, a book on tape or something, so that as you're driving around, you have something to sort of, like, occupy your mind and, you know, catch up on something, a cool story, something that you need to, like, be trained in and get some more exposure to. Seems like there's some opportunities there to double up on it. I know that for a lot of years, my job involved a lot of driving. And at first, it was a lot of listening to the radio. But there's only so many times that you can hear that exact same Katy Perry song before you would rather drive with the sound off. And then you do that for a while, and you're like, boy, but wouldn't it be great to have something here? Wait, hold on. What are the odds that there's something in here that I want? Or maybe that this is... Actually, that's exactly the way that I should go. One of the most curious things from all the years and years and years and years that I was driving is that, do you guys remember the singer Lorde? She's probably still active. I don't happen to know. So for anybody that doesn't know, Lorde had a couple really, really big hits. She had Royals, which was the big smash.
A safe harbor, should we need a moment's peace.
And then she had Team. I think it was called Team. I could never actually quite make out what they were saying, but I'm pretty sure it was Team, like T-E-A-M. I might be wrong. Don't at me, because I don't actually care that much. I could have looked it up at any point in the last 10 years if I was interested. But here we go. It's Lorde, and she's, like, doing her thing. And now we're going to tie off this rope, which apparently I never did before this. So she had that album. I think they both came off the same album. And it was a big damn hit. Like, she was really very popular, and people loved Lorde, and there was a lot of excitement for her next album. And then... I'm just gonna skip here a little bit to say, in one of the most astronomically humiliating things that I think I've ever seen, whatever record label it was that, like, owned the rights to Lorde's music, when her, I think it was her sophomore album, again, I could be off on this, but they very clearly bought out time on not one, but two of our local radio stations. And I assume this was a nationwide thing, just because they wouldn't just do it in our market. In not one, but two of our radio stations, they bought out the top and bottom of every hour to replay their hot new single from Lorde's second album. I do not currently remember what it was called, but at the top and bottom of every single hour, all day long, they replayed this song, and they had these bumpers that were recorded by Lorde, where she would come on and say, and I don't have a Lorde impression here, but she would come on and say, "Oh, I know you can't wait to hear my amazing new song. Of course you can't, but don't worry, Poppet, it's going to be on in just a moment, just after these messages on." And then she would just, like, awkwardly recite whatever the call sign for the call letters for the radio station was. And then at the bottom, "Oh, but you've just missed it, but don't worry, it'll be on again in just 30 minutes. I know you can't wait, and I can't wait for you to hear it either, just because it's so marvelous." And the thing was, this song, whatever it was the most forgettable, unremarkable, juvenile thing I think I've ever heard. Now, whether or not that was a failure of Lord or the songwriter or whatever music producer had put it together, it was a nothing song. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was a sort of thing that you would maybe hear in a grocery store at 7 o'clock in the morning and then not be able to hum it on your way out. It was this completely forgettable piece of music. And when I say that this was embarrassing, what I mean is, after that one day of driving around on my work and hearing this song over and over and over and over and over again, I've never heard it again. I've never, ever heard that piece of music again. Now, maybe somebody's kind of going to come along and they're going to know exactly what song. They're going to like post it up and say like, well, it's played all the time at this roller derby or something. I'm just saying that, like, here in our market, that song was played in ultra heavy rotation for exactly one business day and never again. I cannot imagine putting that much money and marketing into something and to have it fall that flat. So here's the actual gun that we're using. By the way, we're playing a video game called Banishers. If anybody was curious, it's not actually the Review Lord Music hour. Yes, I'm absolutely going to upgrade this because I really like this gun and I like hitting people with the stock and doing 60% more damage. Oh, nest silt. There we go. That's why we can suddenly do this. And I just want everybody to know, I'm not here dunking on Lord. I don't know anything about Lord. I actually have no opinion even of that song. I do have an opinion of whatever record company that I thought it was a good idea to basically put that song on an infinity loop for one day, apparently without having done any market research at all. That when I say that nobody liked it, I mean that nobody could remember it 5 minutes after they'd listened to it. Because I guarantee you, there are fans of Lord in the world that probably would have thrown it a pity request during I just never, ever, ever, ever heard it again. So, and that's my Lord story for everybody. Is this where I'm trying to go? I think Caroluna is turning in. Find Bethesda's hide. Yes, Bathsheba's hide. That is what I want to do. So I think that we're heading to the bottom of the mines. Hopefully this is close. We'll find out. Hello to Jab! Jab, we were just talking about the singer Lord. It's not one of the... Well, actually, maybe it's the most depressing story that you've heard this week. But no, I feel like most people don't feel one way or the other about it. And honest to God, I don't know, like literally right now, I don't know if people have any idea who I'm talking about. I don't know if Lord has completely faded from the public consciousness or if to even suggest that that could ever happen at all is some sort of heresy. So I want to go this way, and we are pretty close to where we want to be. Oh, Jab heard it as well. Crow was saying, I'm driving an old, loud Jeep that has an old school CD player and radio. We recently saw a Bluetooth thing, though, so that she can connect her phone. That was how I listened to all the podcasts. Crow, for years, I was... Oh, are we... Nope, it's coming. It was on the phone. My other fun, like, car audio story, and I don't know, maybe I should have put fun in quotes because it's up to you on whether or not this was a good story to tell. So, when we got the current car, this is coming though, right? Have I don't want to walk on this. It's a very long... Oh, no, it's coming. It's coming. Also, do you guys hear that? So, when we got the current car, it came with, I don't know, 3 months of, like, free satellite radio. It had, like, a satellite radio transceiver, and I don't remember if it was 3 months or 6 months or a year, however long of, like, free satellite radio it had. And the reason that I don't remember how long it was available was because... Oh, hold on. Breaking news. We're going to do this instead, for a second.
More corrupted ivy waiting to be plucked out.
I never once turned it on. I spent 800 hours in that car during whatever period of time that it was, and I never once turned it on. And that's not me bragging. I just had other things that I wanted to listen to on the phone's Bluetooth. So there's one of the sys right there. So when the expiration date came around, and now the free period is done, the satellite company called up, and they were like, hey, so we were just wondering if you wanted to now subscribe. Like, you've had a chance to try it out during this trial period. Would you like to subscribe? And honest to God, I'd sort of forgotten it was even there. I just, again, had different things that I wanted to listen to. So I was like, I actually thought about it. Like, well, I don't know, maybe. How much is it? And they said the price. And I thought to myself, well, given the amount in the car, maybe there's number 2. Maybe, like, no, you know what? I can always sign up for it another time, so I'm going to take a pass on it right now. And then whatever the price was, whatever they offered, then they said, oh, okay, well, how about if we gave it to you for $1 for a year? And I said, come again? And they were like, yeah, instead of the price that we just told you, for like per month, we'll just give it to you for like $1 for the whole year, and then you can have it for another year as a special promotion. And I said, so if I had taken the first offer, I really would have been an idiot. And they said, well, it's like a promotion. And I said, right, but the promotion assumes that I'm an idiot, because now I know that by telling you no, I'm going to get a way better deal. So what if I tell you no forever because I don't like doing business with companies that insult my intelligence? If you had given me the straight up price before, I was feeling tempted. But now that I know that every time I don't do business with you, it's a smarter decision, why would I ever do business with you? And like, the person was like, sir, I'm very sorry. It wasn't about... And I said, okay, you were just doing your job, because I'm not trying to make... this is literally the conversation that I'm having with the person. I'm not trying to, like, attack you. I'm saying that as a promotional opportunity, this really is a bad way to interact with people, to make them feel like you were trying to take advantage of them just seconds ago. And then we didn't do it. And I honest to God, I wasn't trying to harangue this person. I was just really, really put off, like right away, about like, the hell is this? And don't get me wrong, like if you're somebody who takes advantages of those deals, sure, that's cool. Go ahead and do that. But for me, it was like, wow, I very nearly made an extremely bad financial decision by taking this company at its word and purchasing the thing that they told me this was the market price for. I'm having a hard time finding the third one. We know where it is-ish. Oh, do we think it might be around the corner here? In the balance on that last story, please do not hear it as like, you know, here's how to harass salespeople, because that is not the goal. I would suggest to companies that there's at least a percentage of us out there that are willing to consider buying your product at whatever the price is, provided that we feel like you're dealing with us fairly. And the very second that I feel like a company is just like, we're going to charge you exactly as much as we think you'll pay, and our product is actually worth nothing, or rather worth $1 per year, I just don't want to do business with that, personally. Is this smashable? No. Jab is saying Angel always looks a gift horse in the mouse. Angel was already not particularly disposed towards purchasing this, and then when he found out, I'm not going to stop talking in the third person, then when I found out that this was being styled like a scam, was like, no thanks, forever. One is there, one is down there. Where's the third? Is it, hold on. Is it further down this way? It doesn't look like it. It really looks like it's upstairs. No. Inner's saying that's what he likes about Factorio. Buy it now, the price is never going to change. And in fact, I know that for a bit they were talking about raising the price of Factorio to be more in line with inflation. I don't know if they did that. Forever and a Day, that game was $30, not $29.99, not $24 on sale. That game was $30.
Once you've revealed the routes, I'll destroy them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm also, like, acknowledging that it might just not be visible to me. Like, it might be up there. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm usually trying to point when I do that. I guess, to me... Sorry, I need to pop this again so that I can see it. No, I heard it. Hold on, I heard it. You can hear it. There it is. There it is. It's under there. You can't hit it from there. So, where's my things? Hold on a second. We've got one. Hold on, we've got one. We've got... Wait, was that the one I was coming down here to hit? Gosh darn it. Hold on a second. I gotta pop these because I'm losing count. Or losing their location. Okay. 1. 2. And then the third one goes up. Like, you can see the route... Wait, or does it? No, it comes... Oh, Jab is on... yeah, Jab. Amazon Prime raising the prices to not have ads on their content is really scummy. Okay, no, hold on. Sorry, that's gonna be a thing that I... Nope. Yeah, now I get to learn nothing. Wow, Innertooth got it for $10. That is an early adopter price. Factorio I'm talking about. Man, I need that to stay active for like another... Okay, so don't manually switch. 1. 2. Now there's only one vein that's still lit up, which is why I'm doing it. And it is the one that goes up there.
I take the heart, you take the roots.
That's where it is. Okay. Got it. That's not to say that I'll do it successfully. So just one final thing. What I tend to do is I tend to activate it, and then I press Y to switch, but because it automatically switches to red, then it switches back to Antea. That is a mistake that I've made multiple times, and I'm trying to shake. Run. I don't know that I'll be able to do this.
Picked and culled.
Jab says, that reminds me, Invincible Season 2 Part 2 comes out on the 17th. That's awesome! I'm not looking forward to seeing it with ads, but I will absolutely watch it. Clay says, sorry I was in a meeting, but I'm back if you have more VR questions. I don't think anything new has come up, but again, just in case any other meetings or like, you know, if you're going to start your stream, thank you again for that note about the Meta account not requiring a Facebook account. I would
the key to open this.
I would not say that a Meta account at this particular phase is akin to having a Twitter account, but it still falls into the category of things we'd just rather not. Okay, so now there's nothing else over here, I think. Let's just look. Well, there's not going to be a map for this area because we're deep underground. Okay. I think the only other question, actually, Clay, the one question, and I apologize if you answered this earlier, was, have you ever considered setting up one of those, I can't remember the name of it. Like basically the VR studio where it, like, projects the world around you from the angle shot by the camera so that it looks like you, Clay, are physically in that environment. It's a very, very cool sort of presentation, but I also feel like it's probably pretty expensive in terms of hardware and also processing in order to make it work. Okay, so that was a lot of vein hunting. Now we can go up. I really hope this is the correct elevator. I've considered, but don't have a ton of space, but it is doable, says Clay. Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know the topic that Jab just raised, Invincible gets one of my highest recommendations. The Boys, I love The Boys. I love The Boys, but it's very difficult to recommend to other people because of how far it goes. The Boys must not be seen if you are a child, and we will define child here as being less than 60 years old. It's a very intense show, but I love everything about it. It's a fantastic series. Invincible is somewhat easier to recommend. You must still not be below the age of 25 to watch this series, but if you are interested in a very, in my opinion, fresh and energetic and unpredictable and just exactingly thought out and executed take on this like superhero mythos, I really love it. And season 2 was released in 2 parts, one of which came out last year, and Jab has just shared that the next part comes out a little bit later this month, on or about the 17th. Clay is also saying that not all games support that sort of like VR studio looking thing. I was saying earlier, there's like, when they did the release trailers for Beat Saber, they made really extensive use of that in the marketing, and at least that company has a specific name that I'm still facing the wrong damn way, that I just am not remembering. Okay, so we are now... Wait, really? Okay. Go down into the mines. It's just a different mine shaft. Okay. We will do. If this takes me 150 meters down, I feel some sort of way about it. I still have to see the creator someday. I'm trying to remember who specifically recommended that. Like, it was Jab or Clay or somebody stopped by, maybe Kaz. Somebody stopped by and recommended the creator on Hulu, and we still haven't had a chance to see it. Oh, it's the 14th, says Jab. 1 week from today. The worst part about Invincible Season 2 is that you just know that it's going to be...
I can help.
a long time before the next part. And that
Watch
sucks.
out. Spectre possession.
It's a series that you like. You always want to see what's going to happen next.
Move, Red. Don't let that spectre get to the corpse.
Take that to your face.
Here we are. Now, let's find the symbol.
And, you know, as with all things, there's room for different experiences. Yeah, there's the symbol. That's exactly what he was talking about. Where, like, some people might just not like animated things or that particular animation style or something, but the following things I think are just objectively super well done, which is the degree to which the world of Invincible is thought out and executed, and also the quality of the voice work. I don't know what viewpoint, what approach someone's coming from where they have issue with those things. All right. I would say from there, the greatest danger of Invincible is somebody looking at it and saying, oh, a fun superhero cartoon. I'm gonna, like, especially at the beginning. So then you sit like your 7-year-old down to watch. Not knowing what comes next. Yeah, and it's a really good cast, as Jab says. Is it Stephen Young? Why does that not sound right to me? And then Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons. We've definitely read that. Do I have all the... I feel like I don't have all the minor parts yet. Well... Okay, I'm gonna do the unbounding, although I'm not sure if this is correct. Because I don't know if I have all the parts. Was it like Will Arnett has a role in it at some point? Michael Dorn is in it.
It's bloody dark in here.
It's not a series that is worried about having too many storylines and yet never loses sight of the storylines that you would be interested in. So this is interesting. Banishing consumes 150 spirit points to deal double damage. And we're not losing that much. Normally I look at where things turn red, but for what do I get for this? Is increased by up to 50% the higher the spirit gauge. Yeah, we're really nerfing Antea here. If anything, I'd really want to upgrade this. Why have I not upgraded this past, like, rank 3? Because of the nest silt. Damn it. I probably should have upgraded this with the nest silt that I have. Because that's... whatever. Is this everything in here? And just... for me, okay, and Jab was saying that it is Stephen Yeun. I would not recognize him. I would not recognize him, and I would not recognize Sandra Oh. They don't sound like anybody other than their characters, which I think is one of the most important things. The only person that sounded like who they are is J.K. Simmons, just because he's got that really distinctive voice. But even then, at least I personally, and I've said this before, very quickly just stopped hearing J.K. Simmons and only heard Omni-Man. Oh. Hi, Antea. Thank you for the hint. Looking around here. But yeah, what I'm not going to do is say any spoilers about it. Nobody needs... like... Let me just see where this is, because if it's up 51 meters. So I'm going to unselect it now because it is not on this floor of the mine. I have a feeling that because it is currently... nope. That because it is currently exclusive to Amazon Prime, Invincible is going to be one of those television series that people are discovering for years. Oh, Oh, right, that show that, yeah, people used to talk about. Here it is, like...
Someone's been here already.
Available through some other marketplace somehow. So we do have... Yeah, let's just start here. Requisition order from Helen Priest to Bathsheba Ingersoll. Bathsheba is not a name that I feel like I've ever heard before. The inventory of Ingersoll's general store is hereby requisitioned in its entirety by the New Eden Train Band. Compensation may be reclaimed from the selectmen of New Eden on presentation of this order at the meeting house in New Eden Town. Wow, you guys. So, Helen Priest took total control, took total possession over everything in the store, and then told her, if you want to go get paid for it, you go back to New Eden. Helen Priest...
Looks like Helen found Mrs. Ingersoll's stash.
Helen Priest is very cutthroat, which is not something that I am surprised to learn, and I'm not even convinced that I disagree with it. I think it ultimately depends on how the contents of the store were meted out to make sure that the people stayed alive, as opposed to being funneled, you know, otherwise all of those necessary supplies would have been funneled into the pockets of Mrs. Ingersoll. At the same time, only making her whole by telling her, go back to the super haunted place that no one can visit without dying, that... It seems to me like Helen Priest needed to make Mrs. Ingersoll whole in a much more direct and present way. Oh, see, Jab is saying Bathsheba's a pretty famous biblical name.
Oil, sugar, salt. Isn't this Nathaniel Sather's stolen merchandise?
Yes, it is.
Wait, which one am I on? I'm on this one. Desperate to join his friend. Threaten to confiscate his wares. Yeah, I didn't quite follow what they were saying. Like, that this was the confiscated goods. Because I'm just saying, if the confiscated goods were playing cards, what appear to be vials of alcohol or drink, and a couple books, that's not... It's not acceptable, I don't think, to seize that stuff. If those vials were full of medicine, that might be a little bit different. Kaz is saying Bathsheba was the mother of Solomon. See, I know enough about...
Shoot the light. Standing by.
I know enough to not call it the Book of Job, for example. But there might be a lot of things like Bathsheba that just don't ring a bell.
The lantern. Shoot it.
Get back up!
Spectral target building.
Die, you bastard!
Nope.
Trouble's about.
I honestly wonder how many biblical, like, names I could know. Probably a disappointing number. The ledger for Ingersoll's store, indicating that the finances are healthy. This ties down to the essence of the ghost. So, I mean, I'm based on this, now I'm going to assume that the ghost is of Lady Ingersoll, Bathsheba here. The finances were healthy. Although, if what you were selling were necessary goods to starving, desperate people, yeah, I bet that they were. What currently seems more likely, based on the contents of that table, is that Helen Priest just seized everything, saying, well, you know, sorry that, you know, we're not going to allow you to hoard anything. It's all going to be the public community good now.
Ledger for Ingersoll's store. Same dates, but with much higher figures.
2 different ledgers, one of which was locked inside a chest. I think I understand. She stole her own merchandise and hid it in the mines. Then she hid the accounts that would expose her lie. Why would she do that?
The store and Nathaniel are all she has. She doesn't want to lose them. And Nathaniel can't leave for Boston without his money.
So she was doing it to keep him here as well. And blaming Helen Priest? I'm trying to work out how Helen Priest works into all this. I, Nathaniel Sather, on this 3rd day of September in the year 1691, at Boston in the province of Massachusetts Bay, hereby swear that I shall keep to my post as shopboy at Ingersoll's General Store, now located in Boston, for whichever period of time my employer, Master Weldon Ingersoll, requires, or, in his absence, to the requirements of Mistress Bathsheba, Ingersoll, that the store may endure. So basically, as long as they wanted, like, there wasn't a specific term to it that I see here.
Nathaniel broke his promise and doesn't regret it.
He gave up everything to help people, including his good word. We should go back to him.
So, you guys, I'm really concerned that there's an element here that I'm not picking up on. Helen Priest, we see all sorts of documentation, or at least I took it to be documentation from Helen Priest, that the materials were being confiscated, but then we found the hidden ledger, and Antea's summation was that Bathsheba stole her own stuff rather than it going to Helen Priest. Desperate to join, longing to return to Boston, can't abandon the store. Having asked Helen Priest to requisition the Ingersoll's merchandise, Nathaniel has... Okay, so she did do it, and he asked her to do it. So she wasn't just doing whatever. He specifically said, you should demand all this stuff, so then I can go, because the store will be dissolved. That's what it was. He was only in service for as long as the store existed, I guess. Betrayed them, but he did it for love. And then Bathsheba, we're still missing one part of this. She fled with the wares, stole her own merchandise and hid it in the mines. Yeah, this is why we're missing details. Okay. Now, Solomon, I know, it's like, I don't want to be the biggest dummy in the world, but Solomon was the one who said, the solution to 2 women arguing over the baby is to cut the baby in half, right? Yes. I mean, if that's not it, if that's not where that specific... like Solomon's bargain comes from. Why is not Solomon's bargain? Solomon's judgment? What am I thinking of? I feel like bargain is not the quite word, and yet I'm quite the right word, but I'm blanking on what it is. Compromise? Is that the word? Solomon's compromise? I regret that we don't... You know what would be cool if we still did the Banisher quizzes when we had just, like, hanging out and waiting with each other. Yeah, as Jab was saying about J.K. Simmons, it is a pretty distinctive voice. See, now I'm paranoid that I'm never looking the right way.
Excuse me?
Mrs. Ingersoll. That you?
I think so, Mr. McWraith. I think so. Mistress Duarte? Dear Lord, you're a spirit too. What happened?
I was going to ask you the very same question.
I want to start with a more open question.
What are you doing here?
You came to my stall. Then you've met Nathaniel. Would you give him a message from me? Tell him he must stay. He made a promise. He must honor it.
So, you haunt Nathaniel. But he told us you stole your own cash box. Why?
Priest took my stock. All I had left was the money. I thought I'd start again somewhere else. Boston. Where it all began.
This isn't what you had in mind, eh?
I have business yet. You'll see.
I do have questions.
I'll ask you some questions, if you don't mind. What are you to Nathaniel? Where did you meet?
One day, an orphan boy came to our store in Boston hoping to learn the trade. He had this idea that he would sell hats. Everyone needs hats, he'd say. We gave him a job. He's been with us ever since. He's my barker, my salesman. He's born to it. He writes well, too. You should read the letters he sends to his friend, Thomas, in Boston.
Tell me more about Thomas.
He and Nathaniel are very close. Natty writes at least once a month. Were you married, Mistress Duarte? There was a time when I would have judged you if you were not. Now I know better. Love is love, whichever way it comes to you. Natty loves Thomas as well as any man ever loved a woman. Maybe better. What do you think of that?
I don't disagree, but sometimes love demands terrible sacrifice. Where are you from?
Boston, originally. Now I'm from New Eden. You?
Cuba, originally. Now I'm from everywhere and nowhere. Was it in Boston where you met your husband?
It was. I went into his shop one day and there he was. And you? Did you meet Mr. McWraith in Cuba?
God, no. We met in London. We met through work.
Yes. It happens. Or so I've heard.
We found some merchandise stashed away. Oil, sugar, some, spoons. We suspect it was stolen. Is it yours?
I believe it is. Or at least it was.
Helen Priest lays claim to it. For the company.
And how does Helen Priest know about it? Because Nathaniel told her. He broke my confidence. He broke my heart. For the sake of his return to Boston and a life of ease, he'll trample the legacy of those who made him. He betrayed us. I knew what he was up to. That is why I ran. And because I ran, I died.
We'll be off then. We'll be in touch.
Then I'll await your return. Or not.
Do we know what killed her specifically? Was it just going down the mines and then all of the spirits and bone walkers there got her? And the reason that I ask is because there was a problem with the dead boiling up from the mines, but that's what we took care of when we took out the puppeteer. And aside from that, one of the things that they've established in the game is that I don't know why this is here, because it certainly wasn't here before. The Bone Walkers and spirits are attracted to Red and Antea. Like, they are where they are. So, I don't know that there would have been enough spirit presence down there to have killed her if not for Red and Antea going down there. This is the dude, right? Yeah, okay.
May we talk, Mr. Sather?
I'd like nothing more. How can I be of service?
he's not going to sell any.
So, salesman, sell me something, if you can.
My pleasure. Tell me, what do you need and what do you want?
I don't hate that. I just don't know what it's replacing. Oh, wait, is this the iron that we need? Crud. I think it might be. Spirit pick is increased up to 20% the lower the spirit gauge. I might buy these just to have them. And certainly afford them. Quest items. Yes. Do we know how much I need, though? Oh, is it just the one? I think it's just the one. So, okay, so these are amulet and brooch. Oh, I've got a really good amulet. But not that good. Defeating an enemy with punch attack restores 20 spirit points. That gives her a lot more, like, presence on the battlefield. And then brooch is punch attack damage is increased by 5%. That's not very good compared to some other stuff. Let's at least buy the brooch. Because I'm not saying that it's like the best thing ever, but I'd like to at least experiment with it. And then spirit pick, screw it. I feel like we've got the cash. Is there any other metals or stuff that this dude sells that I know that I want to do? This is going to be ghastly concretion. He's not going to be selling that. We can check the rifle. We got everything that we need there. Oh, we could check the two things that we just bought. Spirit pick, we just got this. So we would need some more linens, but this guy mostly sells metals. And then... No, that's already completely upgraded. The brooch was this guy right here, Red Goddess. Oh, and I can just do the upgrade for this. I can't do it right this second, so we don't know what else it might need. This wristband is awfully low level. Silver. Okay, silver. Do you sell silver, sir? No, no, no. Yes. Okay, I don't know why I haven't bought more silver. Let me just double check to see how much I need. 8. What are the upgrades to this, by the way? Oh, yeah, no, I love having the punch attack up by 50%. So, let's for sure buy 8 silver. Okay, do we think that we need anything else? I'm so sorry. I cannot keep an information in my head. Crisp moss. He does. Sorry, you guys. 28 of them. Alright, so now we've got that. I feel like that's pretty much everything. We just double check, but we should be able to upgrade that next. Yes. Yep, now we got everything for it.
We must talk about the widow's accounts. They're meagre enough.
You surprise me, sir. And by that I mean you do not surprise me in the least. If the coffer was full, I'd be halfway to Boston by now.
Is that why you're selling your stock cheap?
Everything must go, sir. Or I'll not carry this junk back to Boston and the coin will pay my way.
Bathsheba kept the money she owes you. And now you're stuck here. Boston no more than a memory.
That's it, exactly. Now you understand the urgency.
I've bad news for you. I found Bathsheba's body. The wolves got her.
Oh no. Poor widow Ingersoll. I so dearly wish she'd made it safely to Boston. Did you find the cash box?
I found something else. The note. You told Priest exactly where to find the merchandise that Mrs. Ingersoll had hidden in the mines.
Ah. Now, I have a number of excuses, but I get the feeling you won't be interested in any of them. Nor, to be honest, am I. I did the right thing. Followed Bathsheba to her hiding place, and then I told Mrs. Priest where to find it. The stock will keep people alive. Now is no time for commerce.
You lied to your employer. Did she deserve it?
Listen, Bathsheba no longer knew what she was doing. She lived in the past, while we live in the present, and the future comes charging towards us. She wallows in grief, to the detriment of her friends and neighbours. She wouldn't give up the goods, so I gave them up for her.
All right. It's time.
I hear you, Mr. Sather. But I'd like to hear Widow Ingersoll's thoughts on the matter too. Wouldn't you?
Dear Lord, what are you?
Worry not, Nathaniel. This is the ghost that haunts the store. Bathsheba Ingersoll.
Back to tell me one more time that you're not going to pay me?
That money is my husband's legacy, and I shall decide what's to be done with it.
Money is mine. I earned it. All those years, I stood by my promise, but you did not. You lied about the books. You cheated me.
I, a cheat? You swore to my husband on his deathbed that the store would go on. You swore an oath to a dying man, and then you broke it.
I swore to help you with your grief. To keep running the store while you mourned. But you did not mourn. Instead, you poured your heart into his business. You won't let it go. You won't let him go. I can give you no more time. I have a life to live. Your dead husband does not. You must let me go.
By renouncing his business, you bury my husband a second time. Ingersoll's name will die because of you.
It's time to end this.
Oh, God. So let's talk it through. Hold on. Yeah, I really, really want to read through this, just because this feels like one of the more, there's just a lot at play here for me. Nathaniel Sather, the salesman at the fort's general shop, told Red that a ghost was haunting the building, merchandise had been looted, Bathsheba had run off with her keys and money. Searching the shop for clues, the Banishers discovered a strange note from Nathaniel about hidden merchandise. In the woods, Red and Taya found the empty cash box, scraps of torn clothing, and a blood of trails. So that's right, we did discover what killed her was the wolves, as he said. And on her, money and her keys. Antea recognized the symbol on the keys that brought us to the mines. In the mines, they found the note from Helen Priest requisitioning the merchandise along with the well-filled account book from the store and a written promise from Nathaniel to help run the business. And I noticed that, by the way. He didn't promise to help her grieve or to mind the store until she was over it. He specifically said for as long as she needs. On their way out of the mine, Red and Antea encountered the ghost, who demanded Nathaniel pay for giving the goods to Helen Priest. To resolve it, all of the Banishers must return to Ingersoll's store. He betrayed them for love. To avoid grieving her husband, Bathsheba poured her heart into his business and could not take its failure. Okay. So here's the thing. I don't care at all about this man's promise to Bathsheba Ingersoll or to her dead husband. They took him in. He worked for them in good faith for decades. And then when the husband Ingersoll passed away, this guy, in an act of kindness, he could have left at almost any time. But here he says, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to help your name carry on in this store so that, and I guess in his heart, he was like, well, once she sort of gets over it, once she's grieved and she's moved on, and maybe she'll even find love again. I don't know how marriage works in this world. Then I'll go off and do my other stuff with my friend. But now I'm willing to put my life and my happiness on hold to help out these people that helped me when I needed it. He had been helping them already for years, so this was an unnecessary kindness that he went out of his way to provide to them. I also remember the first time that we met Nathaniel Stoller. He is an eloquent, good-natured, kind person who, when, again, he could have just left. But he did want the money. He did need the money in order to get back to where he was going. And instead of, taking some opportunity to price gouge all the people here on the things that they might need to raise the funds, or steal from them or something else. Instead, he said to Helen Priest, it seems like he cut her a deal. You take the contents of the store, I take the contents of the coffers, and then I leave. And that was his whole deal. In the doing of this, maybe, that was when Helen Priest got killed and the whole plan was cast asunder. And again, he decided to take what was left in the store and try to sell it to pay for his way to get out. It's not wrong that he betrayed her. I do think it's wrong that he broke his... Well, I guess he is breaking his promise. It's just that, I super don't care about that. But there's a problem. There's a big problem. I can't get over those scenes when Red is asleep, and Antea lays beside him and watches him sleep for a while, and then she gets up and she sort of sits at his feet, waiting for him to wake up. And then she starts pacing back and forth. And then she's sitting by the fire. She can't feel the warmth of the fire. She can't sleep and get any rest. All she can do is wait. And what she's waiting for is some release from this. And the release that she's been promised is to be resurrected. I don't know how much soul energy this is going to take. And Red doesn't know how much it's going to take. It's going to take a lot. And I don't know if it's just the day that I've had, or the mood that I'm in, or whatever else. But I can't get over the feeling that Antea Duarte is suffering. And I don't want her to continue to suffer. She's been promised a very specific release, and every single day that goes by that she has to observe the world of the living through whatever narrow prism, whatever little porthole she has through the veil into this world that seems more and more distant, the only hope that she has to cling on to is the idea that she can make it back into this world. So I'm going to blame Nathaniel Sather. I don't feel this, but I can't risk not bringing Antea back to life. I don't feel good about this, but I feel like my view of Red has turned a corner where I think that he's moving from things that he can justify to the fact that he can't justify not bringing Antea back.
Nathaniel Sather, you broke a promise to a dying man. The man who gave you everything. It brought the angry ghost of his widow back to haunt you.
What's this? What are you doing?
Someone has to pay the piper. May as well be you.
I, the shop boy, have paid the Banishers' bill.
The fact that he wasn't even angry, he was just deeply, deeply disappointed. Inner2, thank you very much for hanging out. Have a good night and hopefully a great Friday as well. Yeah, no, I did get that intent. That doesn't feel good. I really want to make that clear. And I probably tipped my hand a little bit there when I did all the shopping first, because I was thinking to myself, this might be my one chance to buy whatever this guy has to sell. Okay, and then we can do another upgrade there. And another upgrade there. And that's as far as we can go. So, yes, we are now way better at punch damage or whatever. And then I think that there was it the ring? No, I like that ring. It was, oh wait, maybe it was the ring. It might have been the ring, but wasn't it? Yeah, this. I sort of wanted to move this. Hold on. I wanted to move the brooch to something better than 5% punch damage. Yeah, let's give this a shot. The Red Goddess. And triple resilience, I have to say, I'm not anti this, by the way. But this feels like... Well, and that's where we started. So this is... Wisdom is what now? Punch damage. Yuck. Oh, I don't like losing all that punch damage. But we'll make it work. We're going to give it a shot here. Let me switch to this, and I bet if we upgrade it, we get more punch damage again. No, we still don't get that. Well, we're still going to do it. And then we would need some waxy cap, but we can buy that elsewhere if we need to. And if we wanted to... No, I need some elite gems. Okay. We've got one spirit point to spend. So I feel like we could do one of these or one of these. What's my favorite? I really like that, the 20% extra damage. Yeah. Let's just grab this because, like, I'd switch to Antea all the time. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is go turn in that perfect iron. Which is... here, I think. Yes, bring the quality iron over. I think ultimately my summation of that is I want... So there's a human being on this world, maybe more than one, who designed that idle animation while Red is sleeping and Antea is just waiting. She's just lingering. She's just waiting there. I don't know if this was the intent, but that scene has really gotten inside of me. And one of the things that I found that I was really thinking about between the last episode to this one is, can you imagine being told, just wait, just hold on a little bit longer, just stay with us a little bit longer, and then it's all going to be okay, and you'll be back. We can be together again. And then across the course of that journey, having Red become a little bit more tepid about it and getting cold feet and he's not really sure, and to leave Antea not certain what her future is going to be. It just... I feel like he's promised and then he re-promised. We reaffirmed the vow. There's no way out of this anymore. This is like George Costanza being engaged to be married. Once you're in it, you're in it. 100%. There's no room to go back. And I feel like, at least from me, my understanding of Red has moved in that direction now. It's gotta be what it's gotta be. I'm not saying that everything here is gonna be a blame, but...
Good day, Nellie.
All the better for your presence, Mr. McRae.
I found your iron.
I had to dig a little, but I found you some iron. Will it do?
It will. Give me a little time and I'll make you something useful. You just wait. You'll love it.
Okay. She might sell...
Let's trade, Mrs. Eaton.
The thing that I needed.
All right. Let's.
Waxy Capagaric or whatever it was called. Let's try to remember which one it was. Hopefully this one? So I might buy the Crisp Moss. And some more linen. Crisp moss. So what would it be? 24, 34, 44. We'll just buy 30 to round it up. 30 linen and 56 crisp moss. And she doesn't actually sell the linen, which is fine. Somebody does.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Eaton.
Thank you for your interest, Mr. McCraith.
Wait for Nellie to forge your reward. Let's go take a nap. Which, by the way, then we're gonna see that animation. Is this the closest one? It is. Like, if you guys haven't seen it, like, maybe you look away and that's all fine. I just, like, watch this when we rest. They sit down, they're looking in each other's eyes. They're so happy that they can still be together. Then we hit rest. He lies down and he dozes off and she settles down next to him for a while. And that's enough because they're close. And then she sort of like sits down and watches him. And then look at that, like that part right there where she's sitting next to him next to the fire and she's like just steepling her fingers against her temples because she's bored. She's so bored and all she can do is sit there. It just, I don't know what changed from the last episode to this one. It's just I kept thinking about that. It's like when you're young and you're, oh wait, are we still waiting? Okay, I really thought that would be enough time. Well, in that case, I think that we're gonna drop a save here. It just, this is a really, really, really bad, like, comparison point, but it just reminded me of, like, when you're young and when your parents, there's something that you want, something you want to do, a trip you want to take, a pet you want to have, the fish that you wanted to take care of, the rollerblades, the video game, the trip with friends, going to the concert, whatever it is, and your parents say, well, we'll see. And even from a young age, that was so frustrating because at least if there was a no, then you could start to deal with it. But the we'll see, we'll think about it. It just leaves you in this limbo where you can't move past it. That's when you're disappointed as a child. Here, Antea is a grown-ass adult, and she's being told, we'll see. We'll do our best. And the topic is not whether or not you get to go to the concert with your friends. It's whether or not you get to be alive again. Now, don't get me wrong. She's not, like, choosing to stick around because we need to reunite her with her body and settle up her unfinished business in order for her to go. I guess technically Red could banish her, but it seems unconscionable between the two of them. So they still have to go to New Eden. She's still going to be waiting. But if she had reason to believe that she was going to ascend, then she could spend this time enjoying her time with Red, understanding that they are coming up on a final goodbye. And instead of that, she's been explicitly told, she's been promised twice, this is not goodbye. We will be together, and I will do what it takes. And that's why, here in this episode, we put down a guy that I genuinely think was a good guy, like a really legitimately good human being. And this is the first time that I think that Red has done that, despite knowing for a fact that it was the morally wrong thing to do. And that's why I feel like it's sort of like turned a corner. But we'll see, because even now, I would not banish the lady that we just did the commerce with, who was like getting out from under her abusive husband. I think that if I had to justify it in Red's position, Nathaniel Southers has never had a life. He's always been willing to put it off for the benefit of others because he's such a good guy. So what harm is it in just eliminating it altogether? He has a friend, a very, very, very close friend living back in Boston, but that is an unrequited love. Now it will never be requited. It's not the same thing as taking him away from an actual family that he has. It's more eliminating the family that he will now never have. That's a really shitty way to justify it, but I feel like Red's moral compass is moving further and further and further in that direction. So we're going to call it here for this episode of Banishers. There's a lot of talking about how this quest was going to work out, but I was really working to put together the pieces and try to make sure of exactly what we were likely to do, and then we did it. So we're going to call it here. Thank you guys very much for joining us for episode whatever this is of Banishers, and we will see you again very soon for another episode. I would say at the latest later this weekend. And until then, thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great night.